Crowds have turned out in Stockholm to rally in support of Sweden's Muslim community following a string of violence aimed at mosques of late. More than 6,000 people are thought to have taken part in that rally. Similar events are underway in 2 other cities as well. About 40 different groups are said to have attended, along with Sweden's culture minister. It's in response to 3 arson attacks carried out in the space of just a week, the latest of which was early on New Year's morning in one of the country's biggest mosques. The mosque was firebombed and graffiti was sprayed on its walls. 3 days earlier, someone had tried as well to set fire to another place of worship in the south of the country, while on Christmas Day a petrol bomb was thrown through the window of a mosque in another city. The rise in violence against Sweden's Muslim community has been condemned by leaders insisting that such attacks won't be tolerated. Artie got the thoughts of Sami Murik, an imam at one of the recently attacked mosques.
People that are attacking these mosques and that have opinions about Muslims full of hatred is mainly because they don't know Muslims. They don't know the religion properly. What they know about religion is based on prejudices, what they read from anti-Muslim sites and so on. But also another factor is also fear, that a lot of these people attacking Muslim mosques and so on, they do it out of fear, because they have a fear that the minorities are going to take over. Because that's what their ideologies are teaching them, basically, that these minorities are going to take over, so you need to secure the place in your society and so on. So I think it's lack of knowledge and fear.
Well, joining me now is Jan Oberg, Director of Sweden's Transnational Foundation for Peace and Future Research, on the line. Hi there, thanks for being with us. Happy New Year to you, first of all, sir. Now, let's just look back at this last week. 3 attacks, an unfortunate coincidence, or are we going to see more of it? Is it a trend that may get worse?
Well, I would just say, to begin with, as a sociologist too, that there is not a historical trend in 3 cases, but every one of these cases are very bad and should not have happened in this country. If you're looking for the reasons for it, I think it is very much to do with fear, as was just said. Fear that Sweden is losing its identity because Sweden has changed so much the last few years, from being an internationalist country to being very introvert, a member of the European Union with much less originality than it had before. It doesn't care in the same way for the international community. And secondly, we have both an economic and a political crisis in this country. And, you know, these types of things that over the last 20 years has developed, like we're not really the ones we used to be, makes many people turn against those who have come from abroad for very good reasons. And I would like to say that we should and must remember that basically behind every refugee stands an arms trader. That the people who come here are from Syria mainly, Afghanistan, Poland, Eritrea, and they are all from conflict, well, not Poland, but all from conflict areas, where also Sweden is a major arms exporter. So let's make some new links and find out, why does the world have so many refugees, or more than 50 million people have run away from their homes now?
If you look at some surveys that have been made into this, take, for instance, most recently in Italy, and there's been a lot of worry about a lot of refugees coming through Lampedusa into Italy, into Europe that way. But there was a survey out recently saying that actually these people contribute to the economy. They're good for the economy. As far as Italy was concerned, the refugees that come to your country, have any studies proven that they're actually contributing to the economy, helping things or not?
Yes, of course they are. I mean, I'm not speaking statistically or scientifically now, but I can tell you Sweden would stop working in 1 or 2 weeks if everybody here who is not a Swedish-born person would stop working. We are all dependent on each other in a globalizing economy. The Swedish people, like everybody else in Europe, want cheap goods. They want falafel. They do all these kinds of things that are dependent on an international community. They want to sell weapons. They want to trade. They want to earn money from trade abroad. They want to have cheaper products in our shops, but we don't want the people who are the victims of this process.
I suppose
it's not a good thing.
I suppose the counter-argument is, I mean, latest EU figures predict Muslims could make up to 40% of the population in Sweden within 15 years. I suppose the worry for Swedish people generally, the people that were born there, that it's gone too far. You know, you should put a cap on it maybe, but where do you start with that? Where, you know, would you say 40% is too much, 30% is too much? Where do you draw the line? Sweden's taken in more refugees in Europe than any other country this year.
That is very true, and I think we should be proud that we have. It's part of the Swedish tradition. It is a good thing that we are all opening up for those who are victims of the processes that we benefit for ourselves. It's other countries who are receiving too little.
Where's saturation point then?
I don't know. I don't know, but there's no doubt that the interesting thing here is that the former Conservative Prime Minister plus the employers' union are the ones who are driving the argument that we need employment in the future and we need people coming to Sweden from abroad. When we received all the people from Yugoslavia in the 60s here, more than 100,000 came in, and Turks and Germany and all that. Nobody had all these problems because they were needed at the labor market. So let's get the economy going, and we will all need each other.
But the more immigrants, the more refugees coming in, it's all food for the far-right party in your country, isn't it? The Swedish Democrats.
That's exactly what the preceding speaker told you, the lack of knowledge. I just went through the statistics before this program. If you deduct the Swedes who re-enter Sweden, we're talking about an immigration per year, and 2013 was a large immigration year to Sweden, which is about 0.6, 0.7% of the Swedish population. Now you go to Lebanon, you go to Syria, you go to Afghanistan, you go to Pakistan, and you see how many people they receive with much worse economy. We have to be generous because we're living a better life here because of globalization. And we also have to be willing to pay a price for it. So all this, 40% will be Muslims in the future. I think it's wildly overblown, and we always see refugees and people coming to our countries, in Denmark too, where I happen to be born, as a problem. Why can't we have a discussion anywhere that people come to our countries are, yes, a burden for a period, but let them work, let them do their best, and we will all be better off.
Yeah.
It's a fortunate thing for us to receive people from around the world. It makes our societies more rich.
Yeah, we've got to leave it there. Thank you for your thoughts, pragmatic as they are on the issue. Jan Oberg, Director of Sweden's Transnational Foundation for Peace and Future Research. All best to you.
Thank you.